True Detective Night Country hit our screens just yesterday, and following an episode that set up an eerie, supernatural and dark tone, a trailer for the upcoming episodes was released shortly afterwards. With there being quite a lot to take away from it, I thought I'd break it down whilst also giving my theories and predictions on what I think will happen next. So let's get into it. Here is True Detective Season 4 Episode 2 Trailer Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. So the trailer opened up with a shot that looked like it was following on directly from the end of the first episode at the scene of the crime. Liz said the line, "This case, no answers. We should send this back to Anchorage." Anchorage is the largest police department in Alaska, so it would seem that Liz almost wants rid of the case out of Ennis, and would rather escalate it to the largest police department in the state, almost implying that maybe it's too complicated to be worth the time, and that it would take a large uphill battle to get any answers. However, shortly after this, Peter said the line, "Hey Chief," and then, after wiping away the snow that was covering one of the scientists, there was a symbol that was present on his forehead. This symbol was then said to be the same one that was found on Annie when she was dead when Evangeline found her. This shows us that both Annie's case and the main case with the scientists are connected. Whilst it looked like G wanted to highlight that to Liz, the fact that she responded with, "So what?" it showed that she didn't seem interested in working with Evangeline. Maybe this could be connected to the reason as to why she was made a trooper when Liz arrived at the police department, something which I think will be revealed as the episodes go on. Judging by the next batch of clips, it seemed like Liz was reluctant to believe that the case is connected to Annie's, and even more reluctant to think that it was a murder. Peter said the line, "Nobody stops to draw on their forehead whilst they're freezing to death, so maybe the killer was out there on the ice with them," to which Liz responded with, "Ah, a killer," expressing her sarcasm towards Peter and maybe still in denial of the fact that the group could have been murdered. Or maybe she's just laughing because she thinks Peter's jumping to conclusions. At this time, it looked like the bodies of the victims were being kept on an ice rink in order to preserve them, and to also keep the crime scene intact. The cold temperatures is the only thing that makes me think why they've been kept there like that, so that they can continue to investigate them whilst in the position that they found them. In the next shot, we heard some of the suffering that the victims endured whilst also seeing a change in mind from Liz. She called out that they had burnt eyeballs and self-inflicted bite wounds, before saying that she was treating it like a murder case. She was saying this to Ted Corsaro, who's played by Christopher Ecclestone, somebody that I'm stoked to see in this show. It looks like he could be playing some kind of detective type character, and that's why Jodie Foster's Liz was relaying what information she knew about it towards him. After this, it looked like Liz and G were inside of an evidence locker, and they laid out all of the evidence that looked like it could be connected. There were a couple of images of the symbol that was found on the body of the scientist and also on Annie, plus photos of what looked like the victims and their families, along with some of the work that they were doing. So it seems like they're going to be crossing the cases together in order to see what the similarities are, and just how connected they are. The fact that they're going to be working together is something that feels like Liz doesn't really want, but she knows that she may need Evangeline's knowledge from what happened to Annie. I say this because Liz said to her, "We're going to crack it. You close your case, I close my case, and then that's it for the two of us." To which G responded with, "It is." There's a history with the pair that we still don't 100% know about, and I feel we will find out as the season goes on. However, Liz's underpinning racist nature when it comes to G having Inuit heritage and their spiritual beliefs is something that is present, and something that looks like will also be carried through to her non-biological daughter Leah. After this clip, we saw Leah with Kakinit tattoos on her face, and Liz told her to wash them off, where she then said that she believed that she was turning into a crazy radical person. The divide in society is something which seems like it's going to be present in this season of the show. The Inuit people and the white folk that both share the same land. However, they have different beliefs and lives. We already saw G on the receiving end of some mocking remarks from the woman in the opening part of the first episode. Liz mocking the spirituality, Annie's death potentially being racially motivated, and it also feels like there could be something going on with Peter and his father and the fact that he wasn't accepting of his partner. So that's definitely going to be a theme that's going to be getting explored all throughout the season. The death of Annie is something which looks like it could be a main contributing factor of this too, as later on in the trailer it was mentioned how when Annie got murdered the police shushed it all and didn't give it the focus and attention that it needed in order to find the person or people that did it. It looks like there's going to be protests from the Inuit people against the mining, which was something which Annie was fighting for. We heard how the water had turned terrible in recent times, and that could be connected to what's going on. There were signs such as "Save Our Homes" and "Clear Skies" being paraded around, and whilst that was happening, it looked like G was tasked with keeping the peace. But as she was there, she had a hallucination where she saw Annie and her coach standing in front of her. So it shows that Annie is definitely the key when it comes to the murder of the scientists, and also the underlying racism that's present in the community. Evangeline then got a large share of the next part of the trailer, where it looked like her sister was being admitted to hospital by her. It seems like she could have some kind of mental illness and is relatively unstable. G said that she was worried because her sister said that she sees people following her and that she can't sleep. This was then cut with us seeing her sister feeling as though she had something under her bed as she went to look under it. G was saying all of this to Rose, the person who had a hallucination of Travis in the first episode, which led her to finding the bodies. Rose responded by saying, "Don't confuse the spirit world with mental health." So it seems like Rose could be well connected to the spirit world, hence why she felt she saw Travis and was able to locate the bodies. But she might be warning G that her sister could have mental health problems. The next part of the trailer was Evangeline saying that she prayed when she was lonely, but instead of speaking to God, she listened. This was accompanied with a shot of her outside in the harsh conditions with nobody around and an ominous "listen" being played over the top. This was as it looked as though she saw a child running away from her with a teddy bear in their hand. I feel this could potentially be the child that we saw at the end of the trailer that was pointing towards something. And this could well be a hallucination, as right at the end of the trailer, Liz asked G what she saw when she was out on the ice, and she simply responded by saying that she saw nothing. So I wonder if it's connected to G's past. The next section was then focused on Peter and his father. Pete said to his wife, "I need to do this one thing," to which she responded with, "Don't lie to me." We saw him then in the middle of the ice in the darkness chipping away at the surface. I think this is going to have something to do with his father. Maybe his father has done something against the Force, or he's a corrupt officer, hence why Peter said, "I need to fix this." The next shot was of Peter's father saying, "Blood is blood," before proceeding to hit him. I think this is because Peter has confronted his father about the very thing that he was going to go to Liz about, and he's highlighting that the fact that they're connected by blood means that they have a bond that is far stronger than anything else, hence why Peter should be loyal. So I think there's definitely going to be trouble that's going to be heading there between the pair. It also looked like G was going to be getting caught in a fight with two people on the street. I don't think this is going to be connected to the main story, but it could be focused on her losing her rag after maybe getting nowhere on the case. One of the main shots in the trailer was what looked like Liz and Evangeline finding what could only be described as the hub of where the killer was based. This is due to the fact that there was a massive drawing of the symbol on the ceiling, plus there were photos that were on the wall and writing that was there too. When looking at the handwriting that was on the ceiling, it looked like it could be the same as the writing that was on the board, which read, "We are all dead." So I wonder if that's connected in some way. There wasn't anything in the trailer that touched on the past of both Liz and Evangeline, but I think that's something that's going to have a huge involvement in the season. G's time in the military and also the flashback in which we saw Liz approaching something which most probably led Leah to being in the care of her. Whilst this wasn't solely a trailer for episode 2 and it contained only parts of it, I think it was a great way of showing us what's to come, whilst also leaving it open for interpretation and adding mystery. There wasn't too much of the supernatural, which makes me think that the supernatural elements of the show are going to be within the character's mind, and leaning in on their trauma, rather than having something that's actually present in their environment. With a week to go until the second episode is released, we can only theorize. So, there you have it, True Detective Season 4 Episode 2 Trailer Explained.